By popular request, I am talking about natural hair tonight. And I have to say that that's a deep topic because it's intense, actually. So I want to start out with just a quick shout out to Tam, who decided to make those biscuits after all. So let's see. So we've got biscuits in the house. Okay, so Tam, you know, it took a couple of weeks, but she went on and tried it out. Okay. I'm so glad that Tam went on out there and did that thing. So shout out to Tam. And I do want to say, when it comes down to cooking, because you know she was explaining stuff to me or whatever, but this is how we do this thing. And we learn, you know, from the experience, and it's just one of those things, and we get better and better with practice. So the key is just to get in there and do it. That's all. That's all. So shout out to Tam. And I decided this week, I've been doing using my Bible app devotionals. I don't know how many of you are into the Bible app itself, but at first I just used it for scripture reading or listening to the Bible being read, like on my way to work or whatever. You know, you can play it and listen to it. I have really gotten into those devotionals, and so I want to share a devotional with you that I got a lot out of it, especially as a woman. And I want to tell you about a 5-day devotional. If you're interested in checking it out, it's by a lady named Carol McLeod, and that's C-A-R-O-L, Carol McLeod, and that's MC and then capital L-E-O-D. Carol McLeod, meeting her through her work, and she is phenomenal as a writer for sure, and got me interested in finding out more that she may be doing out there in YouTube land, and you know about. And she also has books and all of that as well. You can search it in the Bible app, and I will tell you, you will not regret that devotional. It's very inspiring and powerful. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think we're going to go ahead, and before we go into this topic that we have, we're going to do the movie recommendation. I have a movie called God's Compass. God's Compass. And it's from 2016, and it's a movie we watched a while back, my family and I, but it is one that we really enjoyed. And so that is going to be my recommendation for this week. We used to have Netflix, and for a little while we had Netflix and PureFlix, but now we just have PureFlix because it became kind of difficult to find something to watch on Netflix at a certain point. So I want to let you all know that if you like good movies, you may want to check out PureFlix. $10 a month. They have some really awesome movies, and there are some movies that I would love to recommend, but like I said, that's one that you would have to have that subscription or whatever too with PureFlix. So again, I just want to let you know, PureFlix is a great source for family-friendly movies, Christian movies that you might want to check out. $10 a month if you are. The next thing I want to go ahead and do is jump right into this topic of natural hair. And the thing, what we'll do is we'll talk about natural hair, then I'll share the recipe. I don't want to forget to share the recipe. And then I know we'll have plenty to talk about after I share this. And so I just want to preface this by saying that when you talk about natural hair, This is a pretty intense topic. And so you cannot really cover it in a few minutes. So I can just say that we're probably just hitting the surface of this and not really, I mean, we may have to revisit it or whatever, add on to it, discuss it, see what else we want to talk about, whatever. But I would just say this is kind of like a beginning of this. So because this is so near and dear to my heart, I'm putting myself on the timer to make sure I don't, go overboard. But I'm gonna just see if I can stick to, All right. So I want to get started by saying that we have some misconceptions about hair. Okay, we have misconceptions about African American hair. So I want to start out by talking about this concept of good hair versus bad hair. Y'all heard this. I know if you are an African American woman, you have heard this phrase, good hair, bad hair. Okay. And just to be clear, let's first of all define what good hair is. Okay, y'all ready? Okay.
Ready.
Good hair. You ready? Okay.
Ready.
Good hair is healthy hair. Yes. Good hair is loved hair. And good hair is happy hair. That's the definition of good hair, okay? And so we have got to let go of this stigmatism that we put, out there about people's hair. Let me tell you where this comes from, because this is just a trick of the enemy. That's where we're coming from right there. Let's go back to the days of slavery, because we know that we did not start out here in America. If you didn't know that, we didn't. I mean, like, we did, but that's not how we got here. Okay, so we were in Africa. I'm saying our ancestors were brought here against their will many years ago to be slaves. And they were not slaves when they were in Africa, but they were brought over here to be slaves, okay? And then the goal when we were brought over here was to do the work that needed to be done. We were brought over here to work for them and for free, so slaves. And so in that process, we were degraded, in a sense that you're considered less than. And then in that process, it was a case where you were to lose your whole sense of identity. You were to lose your culture. They didn't want you to bring over what it is that you were in Africa over here, because they didn't want you to have any sense of identity at all. They wanted you to be just a slave. You're a nobody. And you were treated inferior in this environment. You remember, they were bought and sold. And so you were just treated as property. And the thing is, during that particular time, if it were a light-skinned, the slaves were raped and all this during that time. So if you have a light-skinned child, then they were favored and allowed to do work like indoors, or something like that. So there, all of a sudden, you have this inequality going on among the blacks, where if your skin is light, and your hair is all, fine and, wavy or whatever, you were treated better than people who were darker skinned, the slaves that were darker skinned or what have you. So with that, it ingrained that whole idea of good hair, bad hair, the dark skin, or you too black and whatever, and the light skin is supposed to be better. All of that got kind of ingrained in us a long time ago. Okay, so that's where all this came from. It is not of God. It is not something we should be carrying on in our culture today. But truly, all of this came out because we were basically brainwashed to think that lighter skin and straight, loosely curled hair was beautiful, just beautiful, and nobody else. If you don't have that, you're not beautiful. That's. And this meant that we were desired to be more like white people. So there was a division among African Americans, even going on today. The preferential treatment and all of that is still going on today. Now, as of 2006, they say that Black hair care is a $1 billion industry. Okay, let me say that one more time. As of 2006, I don't have the updated stats, but as of 2006, Black hair care is a $1 billion industry. But get this, interestingly enough, at that time, and we don't know what it is now, but Black women consumed 80% of the hair industry, but own only 3%. So we're buying it all. People are making money off of us while we're going there buying all these products, but we don't own very much of it. And so again, you can see how I would use the word exploitation. Our situation has been exploited to benefit somebody else's pocketbook. Okay, I mean, basically that's what it is. The less we care about ourselves and love ourselves, the more we're trying to fix what's wrong with us. And we got to be really, really careful because somebody's making a buck off of that. And so anyway, let's just go to the point that going natural, that whole phrase, I use that phrase, everybody uses that phrase, but I thought about that phrase today and I said, we always say, I'm going natural, as if it was the first time. But the truth is, we were born natural. That's what we were. We were born natural. And so we got to, first of all, keep that in mind and realize we're basically going back to what we already were. What we did was we changed something, and now we're trying to go back to where we started. If it's that, if you're interested in doing this. And so we weren't born with instructions on how to install a box perm when we came along. I mean, we weren't born with a perm, popping out right up behind us or in front of us. It didn't happen like that. And so going natural, I'm going to use the phrase, but I just wanted to keep that in the right context. It's not something that you do. It's not just something you do. It's something you experience. So we want to change that concept. It's not you're going natural. I mean, this is truly an experience. And it makes me think of this quote from a German philosopher that said, I don't know his name because his name is hard to pronounce. I ain't going to even try it. But anyway, it's a German philosopher. You can look it up if you want to. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Now that's what I'm gonna get into today. Two of the biggest lessons you will learn as you embrace your natural hair is the two lessons you'll learn are self-love and self-acceptance. I can't talk to you about it any other way than to say it like that. It's a self-love and self-acceptance you have to go through. It is a process, y'all. So, just to let you know, people can say some very inappropriate and hurtful things to you when you're going through this process. And this thing is this whole journey is very emotional. And anybody who's already in the process of trying to embrace your natural hair, you know what I mean when I say that it's an emotional journey, okay? Natural hair was not as popular when I started my natural hair journey to get back where I came from. I constantly had to deal with people that would say things with no respect toward me, no tact, no regard for my feelings. It's like, I mean, I might as well have been a hole in the wall because it was like I was treated like I had no soul, you know, like just say whatever come to your mind, just let it out, let me have it. I mean, that's the way it was, that's the way it felt. And not realizing that when you say something about a person's hair, I'm saying especially when they can't help it. I mean, it's not mine, not pink or anything. It's not, you don't have it all spiked. I'm just saying what it is that I was born with, what I naturally have. When you talk about that in a negative way, people not realizing that's part of you. And also it's like your personal business. They like all in your personal space in that particular point in time. It's like, hold on now, wait, you know, because you're not gonna want me to get in your personal business, you know. And so I mean, it's one thing like if my hair is bothering people because of the smells, you know, I'm not keeping it up, I'm not, you know, keeping my hair clean or whatever. If I'm trying to be distracting and get a lot of attention with it, you know, for doing something with it. But the thing is, for you just having your own head of hair, I mean, it's kind of hurtful for people to just attack that, you know. And so let me just tell you what I mean. So I was going through my little journey, you know, with my natural hair, and I was struggling, y'all. But it was a white lady that she was older, and she said one day, she was like, why your hair look like that? You look 15 years older with your hair like that. And I thought to myself, that was not very nice. But you know, I was like, Lord, hold my tongue. So I ain't say anything because see, I believe in respecting my elders, you know. And so I bit my tongue. I didn't say a word. I just processed that thing. I was like, that was so hurtful, you know, and it bothered me. And I just like talked to God about it. I'm like, Lord, thank you for holding my tongue, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So it was, I don't know if it was the next day or a couple days later, but we passed in the hall again, and she made the same statement. She's like, I don't know how long you're going to keep your hair like this because you look 15 years older. You just look so old. You look younger with your hair the other way. I didn't say anything again. But boy, it was like my blood was boiling, you know, on the inside. I said, Lord, now you know I'm not feeling the Christian way right now because this is the second time now I done turned the other cheek, and you know, I'm thinking like, okay, will she? I mean, really, is she even thinking? You know, I didn't say anything, but I was stewing in that thing, and I mean, I took that thing home with me. I slept with that thing. I mean, that thing made me mad. And so the next time, I don't again remember the time frame between the insults, okay? But once again, I don't know if it was the next day or a few days later, but it was too soon for me because she made the statement again, talking about how old I look with my natural hair and I need to have it straight because it looked better. Y'all, at that point, I was like, I had to call down the power from on high because, again, she is my elder. But at this point, she has insulted me 3 different days. I have turned my cheek 2 times, and here is the 3rd. And I'm saying, Lord, now I'm a Christian. I love you. I want to please you in my life, but I gotta say something to this lady right now. So I said to the lady, I said, must you be so rude? And that seemed like that caught her off guard. And she's like, huh? I said, do you really have to be so rude? And I just walked out because I just need her to just think about that thing. Because it's like you picking at me. You know how people just pick at you? I felt like she just wanted me to say something. So since I didn't say something the other 2 times, since I didn't say anything to her the first two times, I think she decided to say it again until I said something. I have to tell y'all that after I said something, she never said anything else to me again. But I will never forget about that because she was very rude. That was a rude lady. And I just had to say what I need to say to her. Okay, so that brings me to the fact that your natural hair is part of you that you have never known. So if you have not been working with your natural hair, you don't know part of yourself. You don't. I know for me, I did not know myself with my hair. I didn't know anything about my hair. When it was natural and I was a little girl, my mom dealt with it, so I was permed, at a certain age. And at the point when I started working with it, I was permed. That was all I knew. And so you got to understand that when you go into learning about your natural hair, it's going to take time. That's not something we want to hear, but I'm being honest with you. It's going to take time. Cause see, I'm in my 40s, early 40s, but I'm in my 40s. All right, if I have not touched my natural hair in all these years, for example, I mean, I got a lot to learn. Because I missed out on time to get to know it, so I got to get to learn my hair. And when you go through this process, it's like, for me, it was a love-hate relationship. While you're trying to grow in your knowledge and your understanding of what your hair likes and doesn't like, it's frustrating sometimes. You don't know what you're doing. It didn't turn out right. It won't cooperate. But natural hair is just like us. It has its own personality. Natural hair has its own personality. You can do something perfectly one day and can't even recreate it the next time. You think you did exactly what you did the first time, and why it didn't work this time. That's the way hair is. Like mine's kind of trifling, going all over the place right now at the end. But they do their own thing. The hair, it has its own personality. And your hair is unique to you, just like no two people are just alike. Even though our own hair, if you think about it, the hair on our own hair doesn't behave the same way all over our head. Like all the hairs on our head, they don't all cooperate when we want them to. If you think like mine, you see these gray hairs right here, they really trifling. So, gray hairs, they don't try to do right at all. They try to give you a real hard time. And so you just have to embrace these things. I'm embracing, I'm embracing. Somebody asked me, did I have some gray hair? I got some in there because I've been dealing with children, a bunch of them. Look at it. 5th grade, do that to you, y'all. Okay, so anyway, gray hairs, they don't do right. They don't do right. So in our African-American community, I don't know about the other communities. I know about this one right here that I'm in. In our African-American community, no two people's hair is going to be exactly alike. So stop comparing them. It ain't going to work. We all mixed up. We got some Indians, some white, some black, some of everything, Chinese, whatever. We mixed up, okay? So our hair is all mixed up in there too. And so, and yeah, you can go learn about the 3A, 3Bs, and 3Cs. It's a bunch of little like ways that they say what kind of type curl pattern you got. I don't know all this stuff, so you're not gonna get that from me. I don't know. I heard them say something about it. I didn't learn about it enough. I can't teach you. So I'm just saying I didn't get into it that deep. But you can go learn about all that. But this is what I can truly say to you. For me, I didn't have anybody available to teach me what to do when I came along this journey. I was like the only one in my school building at that time that had natural hair, except for one other person, maybe two, but they kept their hair really, really short on purpose. So I couldn't get any help there, because if my hair is shorter, I can manage it better and it'll lay better and it'll look better and do all kind of stuff better. But if you're trying to grow it out, that's when the work comes in. And so I didn't have anybody to ask. So I decided to go learn from natural hair YouTubers that seem to have a similar texture and length as I do. So if you're trying to figure out your hair situation and you want some inspiration, by the way, I done messed myself up with this time because it's telling me to be quiet, but I gotta get a few more minutes. Hold on. This is important stuff I gotta tell y'all. Okay. So anyway, I decided to learn from natural hair YouTubers that seem to have a similar texture and length as I do. So I would tell you, if you're trying to go on this journey, get on YouTube. There are so many people that's teaching you what they're doing, how they're doing it, or whatever. Go on there and find you somebody that look like they have hair similar to yours. try to follow them from the beginning now, because for people that have been doing this for a long time, they have learned a lot of stuff, and they may not be where you are, but if you can kind of see what their hair was looking like at first, you might be like, oh, their hair was like mine, you know, but they figured out what to do with it over time. So you want to see the beginning of their journey so you can see what they really was working with. And then you'll see if this is the person I need to follow, and you can kind of see what they're doing to take care of their hair. And so for me, those people online were Natural 85. For me, I like to follow Natural 85. That's as in nap, N-A-P, T-U-R-A-L 85. Mahogany Curls, Lady Libra 1982. Lady Libra 1982. She's not really doing anything now, but at that time she had a couple of videos out that was helpful. And Kitty Cat 1374. She's no longer doing her hair video stuff, but I think she still has it up. But I mean, since then she has become a nurse, and now she's doing bodybuilding. She's doing all kind of stuff now. But I'm saying I think all of her hair videos are still accessible from when she put that out. Mahogany Curls, she grew her hair super long, and then she went to school to become a hairstylist. And then she cut her hair all the way back off, and now she, as of 2020, she decided she's gonna start growing it back out again. She cut it all the way back to a TWA, teeny weeny afro, about 2 or 3 years ago. She had a baby and all that. And so now she's ready to grow her hair again with her newfound knowledge as a hairstylist. But anyway, these are people that you might want to check and see what they're doing. But again, I kind of went by, they were close to my hair texture or something like that. And I learned they're really good at teaching you how to take care of your hair. Okay. Patience will be needed. You going to school, y'all. When you working with your new hair, your natural hair, you going to school. You gonna have to, you know how you had to study for those tests and stuff? You got to study. You got to study and learn your hair. Yes, you do. So, you know, I'm just saying, you got to have your mind right with this thing. You can't just go in there, I'm gonna go natural. No, you got to have your mind right. This is a process. So you can't be quitting and giving up. Over the course of my journey, you know, I have been frustrated with the lengths, because it would look good when it first started out real small, little short hair. That do, ooh, it'd be so pretty when it's short sometimes. And then you get to that, and at this stage, if I finally got to the stage I was trying to get to, but y'all, that in between stage wasn't nothing working right. And so we just had to push through that thing. We had to push through. Frustration, all of that. Okay. When I was in that middle stage, lost, didn't know what to do with it. We just had to work through it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, you're going to have nightmares if you're anything like me. I had the natural hair nightmare many, many times. And if you are natural, you might have had it already. Now watch this. I would dream that I permed my hair by accident after going through all this trouble. Ooh, that was a nightmare, y'all, right there. I'll be so glad when I wake up and find out that wasn't true, because I'm like, all this stress I done had, people being rude and everything, and now I'm just put the perm back in, and now I gotta, what did I do to myself? Okay, so that's the nightmare. But then I had the real nightmare, and that is when I was going through those hard times, I thought, well, why don't I just straighten it out? And I tried it all kind of way, Marcel iron or whatever you call it, and then the ceramic iron. I tried all kind of stuff, trying not to damage my hair and all this, put little heat protecting on and all this. Guess what? Heat damage. 3 times, heat damage. And you know what? After working on it that long, and then messing it up with some heat, because I wanted to get some length, you know, I wanted to see how long it was. Beauticians say you got to cut that off. Now that's a real nightmare right there. You got to start back over. I had to do that 2 or 3 times, cut it off and start all over again. Okay. Now, by that third time, I had embraced myself and my hair. I said, Lord, I don't care how tempted I get. I do not want to put heat in my hair anymore because I do not want to go through this again. And so I have not put heat in my hair in a very long time after learning my lesson. You know, everybody tell you, well, put some heat to protect on it. It won't burn. And use a ceramic. That stuff didn't work for me. It stopped curling. That's what it did. So I stopped doing it. Now, had to learn self-love, patience, and acceptance of me. Now, even though I learned to do, you know, I learned what the different YouTubers did. I learned how to take care of my hair and all that kind of stuff. I still ended up with my own routines and products. And, you know, they sometimes still change over time because you'll just kind of learn what your hair needs.